so I came dressed for the part today. One of my favorite investments, for really a lot of reasons, was Three Texas Cowmen. They, two of them owned ranches, and one of them owned, it's called a feedlot, where when the cattle get to be a certain age, they take them to their to this feedlot and they feed them corn, and kind of like going to grandma's for Thanksgiving. You know, you just eat all you can eat, and that's a feedlot. And when they send those cattle there, they make money on it. I mean, it's a business deal. You can buy the cattle. This one guy had a feedlot, so he had the employees to feed the cattle and the cowboys to doctor them if something went wrong. And it's really a good way to make money. I mean, if you think about it, the cattle get fatter every day, so whatever they bring per pound, you know, they make more money. And it's an area that these cowmen understood. And they were delighted when they found out that they could actually use their IRAs to do this. This investment was a safe investment for them. It was in familiar territory, something they were very used to, with familiar people, in something they could kind of go kick the tires on. They could actually go see their investment. Like one of them told me, it says, if this goes wrong, I can eat my IRA, as long as you're not a vegetarian. But he said, you can't eat an Enron stock certificate. So they were real excited about that. And what we did was, since there were three of them, and they were going to be equal partners, the third, and the third, then that means they're below the 50% prohibited party rule. So once we set up the LLC for each of them to be a third owner, their IRAs, their checkbook IRAs, could make loans to that LLC without any problem at all, totally within the guidelines. They could joint venture with one another. You know, hey, you put up the cattle, I'll put up the money, we'll take out the expenses, and we'll split the profit 50-50 or 60-40 or 70-30 or whatever. That's the flexibility that they had with a checkbook IRA, that they were just dumbfounded that they could do that. They're so excited to get out of the stock market. Like they said, we don't trust them anymore. A, we may not even understand the company that we're investing in, and B, you may not be able to trust them. There are companies that they're cooking the books, or in some cases they're in bed with the government and they get a good, you know, a good deal, or they don't get a good deal, and we just don't know what we're doing. But in this area, what the CheckBook IRA LLC did for them was allow them to invest in something that they were very familiar with their whole life, dealing with people that they had dealt with for a long time, being able to actually go out and look at their investment, to make decisions and to make instant decisions. And several of them talked about all of the money that's being printed up, and they said this protects us against inflation. It allows us to take our IRAs and buy cattle, buy something that if inflation goes through the roof, the cattle will go through the roof, and at least our buying power will be the same. And these guys were pretty sharp. I mean, with their businesses, they'd set up corporations, so they had 401ks, they had SEP IRAs, had simple IRAs, and they were glad to hear that we were able to take the different IRAs and roll them into one IRA for them, and then create the LLC to combine those things. So it was a lot of fun. You know, I enjoyed doing it. You know, I have a cowboy background. In fact, in the winter time, you know, I go down to Arizona and rope. In fact, I won a saddle here last year, which was kind of cool. So we talk the same talk. But the whole idea of the checkbook IRA is you may not understand how to deal with cattle, but you may have other areas that you totally understand. I mean, we had a guy who was a fisherman, a commercial fisherman, and he knew that the fishing licenses were going to go through the roof. So we set him up with a checkbook IRA. I don't know anything about, you know, fishing, commercial fishing licenses, but as long as it's not life insurance or collectibles, and as long as he's not buying or selling to buying from or selling to a relative, a close relative, it's perfectly acceptable. So guess what? He takes his Roth IRA with $50,000, buys a commercial license. They go up to $100,000, and next year he made $50,000 with his Roth IRA in an area that he knew that he would do well. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, but for him, he felt very comfortable. And that's some of the flexibility that you have with a checkbook IRA, to be able to invest in what you really know, what you feel comfortable with, what you understand. It's one of the joys of having this company and being able to help them. So that's probably one of my favorites, because I understand what they were doing, but also I can still remember the excitement in their voice when they realized that they could take rather sizable retirement accounts and actually put them in something that they could make some money in, but they felt very, very comfortable with.